It's so amazing to be with you tonight and say a few words about my father. Donald Trump has never done anything halfway. Without his unwavering support and care for me during such a challenging time.
Tiffany Trump always kept a low profile. No scandals, no social media outbursts, just quietly living amidst her family's empire. But after her sudden divorce, the silence has finally been broken. Rumors of a troubled marriage, hidden power struggles, and a mysterious real estate deal have sparked a wave of speculation. Now, for the first time, Tiffany is speaking out. What really went on behind closed doors? And why does it feel like this is only the beginning? Before diving into the drama, let's take a closer look at Tiffany herself, the most private and enigmatic member of the Trump family. Unlike her siblings, Tiffany has always been somewhat of an outsider, and maybe that's where the issue lies. She's the wild card, not because she's scandalous, but because we know so little about her. While her brothers and sisters basked in the spotlight, living lavishly, Tiffany hovered on the edges, neither fully inside the family spotlight nor completely detached. That distance made her all the more intriguing. But before we continue, we'd love for you to hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying this video. If you just did, we truly appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the main content. Born in 1993 to Donald Trump and his second wife, actress Marla Maples, Tiffany was raised differently than her older siblings. While Ivanka, Eric, and Don Jr. were immersed in the Trump world from the start, Tiffany grew up in sunny California, far from the family's New York stronghold. Her mother was determined to give her a more grounded upbringing, normal, as much as that's possible with a billionaire dad. Tiffany never had the automatic entry into the Trump organization that her siblings enjoyed. Her relationship with her father was distant at best. She spent most of her youth with her mom and only occasionally appeared at family events or Trump Tower, where she noticeably stood apart. While her siblings acted like future CEOs, Tiffany revealed a softer, more creative side. As a teenager, she briefly tried to step into the spotlight with a pop song called "Like a Bird." It didn't become a hit, but it showed her ambition to forge her own path outside the Trump name. When that didn't take off, Tiffany shifted focus and chose a more conventional route: college. She went to the University of Pennsylvania, just like her father and Ivanka, but her experience was different. She wasn't networking for a career in business or politics. She lived more like a typical college student, making friends beyond the usual elite circles and enjoying the college experience. After graduation, Tiffany took a path that truly set her apart: law school at Georgetown. While her siblings dove into real estate deals and political aspirations, Tiffany stayed under the radar, focusing on her studies and keeping clear of drama. Unlike her father and older siblings, she rarely made headlines. She didn't court controversy or try to build a public persona. Even though Tiffany worked hard to create her own identity, she could never fully escape the Trump legacy. Whether she wanted it or not, being a Trump meant facing constant expectations, assumptions, and endless questions about where she truly belonged. Just when it seemed like Tiffany had finally settled into her role within the Trump orbit, she made a headline-grabbing move: a billionaire fiancé, an extravagant Mar-a-Lago wedding, and a romance that seemed like something out of a high-society fairy tale. Tiffany Trump and Michael Boulos, a love story from the upper echelons. Tiffany has always been somewhat of an enigma, carefully balancing between the flashy Trump empire and a more private, understated life. But everything shifted when she met Michael Boulos. Suddenly, she wasn't just the overlooked daughter of Donald Trump. She was engaged to a billionaire heir, entering a world even more exclusive than the one she was born into. So, who exactly is Michael Boulos? And how did this elite romance begin? Michael Boulos isn't your typical Trump world suitor. He's not a Wall Street mogul or a political heavyweight. Instead, he hails from genuine wealth built far beyond the U.S., away from Manhattan's glitter. Born in Houston in 1997 but raised in Lagos, Nigeria, Michael is the son of Lebanese business magnates who made their fortune in West Africa. His family owns Bulos Enterprises and SCOA Nigeria, sprawling companies that deal in everything from motorcycles to heavy machinery. In short, Michael grew up with real, substantial wealth, not the reality TV style, but the quiet kind that wields real power behind the scenes. Despite his billionaire upbringing, Michael isn't the typical trust fund heir flaunting wealth on social media. He's educated, driven, and polished, quite different from the loud, high-profile world Tiffany was raised in. Unlike the Trump brand, where attention is everything, Michael's family keeps a low profile, making their influence even more formidable. So how did a Nigerian billionaire heir cross paths with a Trump? That's where the story gets interesting. A serendipitous meeting in a playground for the rich. Tiffany and Michael's relationship kicked off in a perfectly Trumpian setting, a party in Mykonos, Greece. Yes, Mykonos, the playground for the ultra-wealthy, with super yachts lining the coast and billionaires treating champagne like water. It was the summer of 2018, and Tiffany, freshly graduated from law school and enjoying the perks of youth and wealth, was vacationing abroad. Though she kept a relatively low profile compared to her siblings, she still moved easily within the world's most exclusive social circles. Then, Michael Bulos entered the picture. The exact details of their first encounter are few, but insiders say the chemistry was immediate. Introduced through mutual friends in the elite social scene because, naturally, everyone knows everyone in those circles, their connection was different from the media-driven whirlwind romances of her family. There were no flashing cameras or public declarations, just two young heirs quietly enjoying their time together. What made Michael stand out from Tiffany's previous relationships was his worldly sophistication and understated charm. Michael wasn't just another New York socialite, he had a global upbringing, immersing himself in different cultures and building a powerful network far beyond the walls of Trump Tower. For Tiffany, who had always felt somewhat like an outsider in her own family, Michael's world likely offered both a fresh escape and an elevated status. Unlike most summer flings, their relationship didn't fizzle once the vacation ended. In fact, it only grew stronger. By fall 2018, Michael was already being introduced to the core of the Trump family. Think about that. Tiffany, who had always hovered on the family's periphery, was now bringing a billionaire heir with a sprawling international empire into the fold. It was a bold step that didn't go unnoticed. Michael fit effortlessly into Tiffany's world, showing up at major Trump events and even meeting Donald Trump himself. And surprisingly, Trump, who has very particular standards for who gets close to his family, seemed to approve. Whether it was Michael's wealth, his global influence, or simply the fact that he was nothing like Jared Kushner, he earned his place at the table. As their relationship deepened, Tiffany became more visible in the public eye. She started attending White House functions more often, stood alongside her father at campaign rallies, and even took on a more active political role than ever before. Michael seemed to give her a confidence and sense of belonging she hadn't felt before within the family. By early 2021, rumors of an engagement were already swirling. Tiffany had always kept her dating life private, but Michael was serious about making things official. On January 19, 2021, her father's final day in office, Tiffany announced on Instagram that she was engaged. The timing was hard to miss. As one chapter closed, another opened, one that promised more stability and glamour than anything she'd known before. Michael's proposal featured a 12-carat diamond ring valued at over $1 million, because in their world, bigger is always better. Even with all the excitement around the engagement, whispers started to circulate. Some questioned whether this was a genuine love match or a strategic alliance between two ultra-wealthy families. Others suggested that Tiffany, long seen as the family's outsider, was finally making a power play of her own. Regardless of the speculation, wedding plans were underway, transforming a sun-drenched romance in Mykonos into preparations for a Mar-a-Lago event worthy of royalty. When Tiffany Trump walked down the aisle at Mar-a-Lago, It wasn't just any wedding, it was a grand spectacle. A dazzling display of luxury, legacy, and unmistakable Trump flair. After all, when a president's daughter ties the knot, it's bound to be an unforgettable affair. On November 12, 2022, Tiffany and Michael Boulos said "I do" in front of their closest family and friends at the Trump family's iconic Palm Beach estate. But closest is relative when your last name is Trump. The guest list read like a who's who of high society, political heavyweights, and international business leaders. And the venue? Pure indulgence. Mar-a-Lago, famous for its opulent architecture and rich history, provided the perfect backdrop for a wedding of this magnitude. The estate's grand ballrooms, towering palms, and stunning waterfront views were transformed into an elegant paradise. Every detail was meticulously planned. Soft pastel floral arrangements filled the space, while gold accents and sparkling crystal chandeliers added layers of sophistication. This event wasn't just about looks, it was a statement. Tiffany's wedding gown was as breathtaking as the surroundings. She wore a custom Elie Saab dress, paying homage to her husband's Lebanese roots. The gown featured intricate beadwork, sheer long sleeves, and a sweeping train that beautifully combined timeless elegance with modern flair. Her bridal style was classic yet fresh, mirroring her personality, graceful but never overshadowed by the family legacy. One of the most memorable moments was Donald Trump personally walking his daughter down the aisle, a rare and touching public display. Tiffany's mother, Marla Maples, played a hands-on role in the planning, ensuring the day felt as heartfelt as it was lavish. Tiffany's siblings, Ivanka, Eric, and Donald Jr., were all present, dressed to impress and smiling for the cameras, projecting a united family front. Michael Boulos comes from a wealthy business family with strong ties to Nigeria and Lebanon, which made the wedding a fascinating cultural blend. The guest list included prominent figures from both sides: politicians, business tycoons, and international elites. This wedding was more than a celebration of love. It was the union of two powerful families with global influence. Though the Trump name carries political weight, this occasion was personal, not political. It was a celebration of Tiffany and Michael's journey together, a rare moment for the family to savor away from the pressures of public office. While the event was undeniably grand, at its heart, it was a wedding about two people embarking on a new chapter, just with a little extra sparkle. But behind the glittering surface, cracks in their marriage began to show. What exactly went wrong? The strain of a high-profile marriage. Everyone knows Tiffany Trump and Michael Boulos haven't officially split, at least not publicly. Still, rumors swirl. Speculation about their relationship status continues to circulate, and though there's no concrete evidence of trouble, it makes you wonder, if they were to part ways, what could be the reasons? Tiffany might not have been as much in the political spotlight as her father or siblings, but let's be honest. Being a Trump means constant scrutiny. Michael comes from a powerful business dynasty with its own well-established reputation. Marrying into either of these families isn't just about love. It involves managing expectations, family legacies, and public scrutiny. The relentless pressure to maintain a flawless image, balance family demands, and handle media attention can strain even the strongest relationships. Michael's background is unique. Born into a wealthy Lebanese-Nigerian family, he grew up in a very different world than Tiffany's American high society upbringing. Though both come from privilege, their cultural influences and lifestyles are quite distinct. Marrying someone from a different culture can be exciting and enriching, but it also brings its own set of challenges. Differences in expectations around family roles, traditions, and career goals could lead to tensions over time. Plus, Tiffany and Michael have spent considerable time living in different parts of the world. With Michael's business interests tied to Nigeria and global ventures, he likely travels frequently, while Tiffany has mostly been based in the U.S. Their relationship reportedly began while Tiffany was in law school and Michael was managing family business overseas. so they had some experience with long distance. But marriage is a whole different level. Living apart for long stretches in separate countries can put serious strain on any couple. And coming from such influential families, there's always the question of how much family pressure and expectations affect their decisions. The Trump family is famously close-knit in both business and personal matters, while Michael's family has its own empire to safeguard. Could these external family pressures or conflicting business interests eventually cause friction in their marriage? And then there's the lavish Mar-a-Lago wedding. While weddings are moments of celebration, marriage is a daily commitment. Once the glamour fades and real life kicks in, couples often face challenges. Could Tiffany and Michael be struggling with the everyday realities of married life once the excitement wore off? It's certainly possible. Even the most perfect-looking couples face private difficulties. Of course, this is all speculation. But if Tiffany and Michael were ever to part ways, these could be some of the real reasons behind it. On top of marriage pressures, Tiffany has also faced challenges within her own family, especially with her father. So what's really going on between Tiffany and Donald Trump? Tiffany Trump and Donald Trump. A complex father-daughter relationship. Unlike Ivanka, Eric, and Donald Jr., who were raised deep within their father's empire and constantly surrounded by him, Tiffany's upbringing was quite different. As Donald Trump's only child with Marla Maples, she mostly grew up with her mother in California, far removed from the glitz, pressures, and expectations of Trump Tower. Though she has always carried the Trump name, reports suggest that Tiffany's relationship with her father has been distant and strained for years, with whispers of a complicated bond between them. Unlike her siblings, who have been deeply involved in Trump's business deals and political life, Tiffany has often appeared removed from the family's inner circle. According to sources, there were lengthy stretches when she and her father barely communicated, sometimes going months without speaking. And let's be honest, when a family is built on legacy, business, and loyalty, being on the outskirts can complicate things. Tiffany herself has acknowledged the unusual nature of their relationship, saying, "I don't know what it's like to have a typical father figure. He's not the dad who's going to take me to the beach and go swimming, but he's such a motivational person." Beyond the physical distance, ideological differences have added complexity to their bond. The Trump family is well known for its conservative values, with Donald Trump spearheading a political movement rooted in traditional beliefs. Tiffany, however, has shown more liberal tendencies. Her affiliations and activities sometimes diverge from the family's conservative image, sparking speculation about tension behind the scenes. For example, her attendance at events outside the family's usual circles has raised eyebrows. These ideological differences can create subtle strains, especially in a family that prizes loyalty and a united public front. Then there's the talk about Tiffany possibly giving up Trump Organization real estate. While it might sound like just another property decision, symbolically it could mean much more. The Trump empire isn't what it used to be. Since leaving the White House in 2021, Donald Trump's businesses have faced legal battles, financial scrutiny, and a shifting public image. The once glamorous Trump brand has dimmed somewhat, and for Tiffany, who's always had one foot in and one foot out, this might be the perfect time to quietly step back. In a move loaded with symbolism, luxury jeweler Tiffany & Company decided to vacate a Trump-owned building in New York City. Since 2018, Tiffany & Company had leased space at 6 East 57th Street, a Trump Organization property, while their flagship store underwent renovations. This departure marked more than just a change in the commercial real estate market. It reflected broader shifts within the Trump empire after the presidency. The vacancy highlighted the Trump Organization's struggle to keep high-profile tenants amid changing market conditions. At the end of the day, Tiffany Trump has always been the most unpredictable member of the family. She's never fully committed, but she's never completely detached either. Could this be the moment she finally makes a clean break? If rumors of a split from Michael Boulos are true, and if she's stepping away from Trump business ventures, then maybe, just maybe, Tiffany is ready to live life on her own terms for the first time. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. For more exclusive updates like this, tap the next video on your screen.